time for an exercise. We're going to create an exercise, of course, of what we have learned in the previous lessons and practice it a little bit more. For that, we're going to use two photos and combine them into a drawing. Now, how you want to do that, I'll just leave up to you, but I'm just going to show you a little bit what I've done with it. Let me show you the photos first. This is the first photograph of this toadstool. We're going to use that one. And then there's a second photo of this small mushroom. Now this is compared to the other one is actually quite small. This is not even large, but this is really small. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine them into a drawing. Now what you could do is you can draw them separately. You could do that, and then you take your paper. Let's say this is your paper. For this one, you would put your paper like this. And for this one, I would actually turn my paper and then blow it up really huge. You could do that. Or what you could do is combine them into a drawing, and then I would just simply keep it in the landscape form. Now, I did this lesson already before, and for some reason, I didn't put my camera on. Now, the camera is there on for the better part where I'm not walking you through it, but I want to walk you through a little bit of a step. So let me show you what I've created already. This one goes away. All right, here's the one I created. So that should be in focus pretty much. And I'm not going to take you through all the shading and things like that. We practice that. I'm going to let you figure that out, but I want to talk you through the parts a little bit. And for that, I'm going to just show you what I've done. So I might as well put this up and let's see if I can change this camera. I can put it up here, get that iPad with it too. And let's see if I can get 3 parts into my camera. There's the iPad. That should probably pretty much work. Tricky, but should work. There you go. So then I'm going to walk you through the first part, what I did, the drawing actually, a little bit. I'm going to get myself a paper and I need a pencil. I'm afraid that the pencil is somewhere under my iPad. All right, I got to find my part. I got it. Yes, it's indeed under my iPad. So the first thing, of course, what I've done, I've identified the box. So what I did is I have drawn a box and I said, I want that large mushroom to go into this box. And I'm now doing it rather roughly. And the second mushroom, the smaller one, I need more of a rectangle. I put it on the same line, basically, but a bit further. And I want it in this box. And that was my first step, to have 2 boxes where I want them in. The next step would be determine, of course, this is under an angle. This one is under a different angle, but we're going to do that in a minute. And the stalk itself, the stem, is under an angle a little bit too. So there you go. And that would be my first step for those. Now, the next step would be determine the round. I noticed this was quite straight up there. This is nicely rounded. This is rounded quite a bit, and then I've just connected these arches, and this one I noticed goes straight and more down, so more like that. There you go. And now for the stalk, I've done this part, as you can see, quite differently, but let me do the stalk first. Now it's pretty straight. I've just ignored that part. There you go. That will be my stalk, and then this part here I drew actually in, created a little bit of an interesting form and a line there, and I did it on the other side too, basically, and there you go. And then I went to the other one. Now this mushroom is growing out of the ground in under, there's some wood there, it's growing under there, so it has this curve. So what I'm going to say, all right, I want to do, let's start with determine where the hood is first. The hood would be, it's quite small on this one, so I would do the hood right there. I would take that middle line and then curve it right there. And it goes into a little bit of a hill. I've done a little hill, whatever is there, it's not a hill. And then connect the two again and let this one go. There you go. Now the hood, no, the hood, not the hood, sorry. The stock would start under an angle, go there, and the same here. This would be tapering, and you get something like that. If I look at the hood, I see a round form there, a little bit of a round form there, and I see that bump in the middle. There you go. And I'm working towards that bump here too, and there you go. Now, you could draw theoretically a line here. I'm leaving that up to you. You could do that. As you can see, I haven't done that. I've done that with shading, but I did notice there this part. There you go. And of course you need the gills in it. And there you go. Now for light, I just went from this side and shaded it. I didn't do the round parts, but just simply into shaded parts like that. And here too. Did that, no, and around here some. And this I left a lot open because we didn't want to fill all of it in. And of course I did the scales on it and things like that. And for that wood, I just placed it wherever I wanted. A piece of wood. And now I see I have more room than I have here. So this would be actually a lot larger wood. I'm just putting in a piece of wood, just a random piece. Just that looks good. And then I put something, whatever, behind it. Doesn't need a name. And that is basically what I did. And this I shaded really easily, just quickly, because you don't need the attention there. And same here, easily shading. And with this one, I said this is close to that one, to this mushroom, so it's casting a shadow. But here, this is far away from the mushroom, so there's no shadow in it. And that's it. So that's basically what I did. And that is this, of course, the rough version of it. Oh, it still looks pretty decent, doesn't it? Only I didn't take in account the paper. This would just fit on the paper. No, not really, because I went here. So I should have put it slightly closer to each other. All right, and that's the way I identified the parts, put them into one drawing and made a little bit of a composition of it. Just having some fun with two separate photographs, creating one of them. But as said, if you want to do two different drawings, separate drawings, then make use of the paper by turning it for the little small one, put it large, and the other one, keep it a bit on that one, yeah, on the landscape side. All right, and that's it for the exercise. Now the rest of the video will be me shading this. So if you want to follow me along, create the drawing first, and there's a better version of the drawing in the book of notes. You can use that. Create the drawing, then do the outlines, and then shade, and you could follow me along. Or of course you can do completely your own composition the way you want it. But whatever you do, practice this a little bit, and then of course show all of us what you have practiced. All right, good. And then that concludes this part 2. This module is now done too.